ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Cinema Dudes Podcast, the podcast where we talk all things cinema. I am joined in studio by my co-host, Lucille.
Hello.
We are back again, and we are here to talk about Oscars.
Right, what we're going to talk about Oscars.
I'm going to talk about the Oscars, and we got a couple things of some incoming news.
Yeah, we got a lot of those.
I'm just going to start with the categories.
Guys, I think this was historical. We got we're not gonna go down that much of a list. Some of them, like there's a live action short films, best animated short films.
I mean, I feel like we could talk about them and then just skim through them,
but
then just tell them what won. But then when it's a category that we know the movies really well,
then
we'll go into depth and talk about it.
There was I saw the best animated short film for Hair Love. That was pretty. It was a nice speech that they talked about. They obviously honored Kobe Bryant, and they talked about their it talked about reputation towards the speech. So it was a good one. It was a good acceptance speech.
Hair Love took home a winner for best animated short. The best live action film was The Neighbor's Window. Now we go on to best sound mixing, which 1917 took home.
Yes.
You just saw that for the first time.
Yeah, I thought that was great. It blew me away just from start to finish. The storyline itself, if you don't know well, I don't know well about World War One, but that just let alone just had a good outtake on it, and I thought it was great.
It was a good one shot.
Great one shot, exactly.
Start to finish, man.
Start to finish.
It's insane.
Sound editing, best sound editing with
Ferrari.
I just saw that for the first time too. I said, and I said that on my Instagram too, that was obviously the best. That was a really good sound mixing. I never said it's the best, but I would say it was a really good input for sound editing. So that
was good. Yeah,
that was great.
I liked Ford v Ferrari a lot, and I don't know, like you put in your Instagram. I don't know a lot about cars, but it was a good movie.
I never knew about cars, and that just threw out. And then you gotta look, and then I think that was just. I think they took home two, which we'll both read through, but them two just. Matt and Christian were like, their chemistry just went so well, and then plus we're going back to the sound editing. It was just pretty set well. So
yeah, definitely,
I liked it.
And then now we got best original song, which went to Rocket Man. I'm Gonna Love Me Again. Elton John, he took home an Oscar for Best Original Song. That's the only Oscar Rocket Man took home.
That's the only one that took home, and then that was his first Oscar that took home too.
Definitely. Best Original Score went to Joker, which I think it was very well deserved because the score for that movie is great. But
it just went so well with the film, and just very it was such a violin. It was played by a violin throughout the whole music, but there was so much into it more with the music. I just thought it was great.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was my prediction too. I thought that was going to win. Best visual effects, 1917.
I have
surprised I took it.
I liked 1917. Don't be wrong, but when it was going up against movies like Irishman, Endgame, Rise of Skywalker, Lion King, I was like, wow,
out of all those,
Rise of Skywalker was cinematically beautiful. Endgame was just on a whole new level of beautiful, and Irishman, they did a great job on special effects too with de-aging people. But 1917, it was a really good movie and had really good special effects. But when you're up against, in my opinion,
it was just a surprise to win.
Yeah,
you don't expect that, and that alone, you see. It was just I thought it was more production design than just that. But that alone was just
so far that was
shocking.
That was 2 Academy Awards 1917 took home.
Yes.
For best makeup and hairstyling went to Bombshell with Charlize Theron and Margot Robbie.
Yes.
So me personally, like I said, I would love it went to Joker or 1917. Oh, I sneezed. Sorry. Yeah, that was a good one. Joker in 1917 for me would have been like a good one. Mm-hmm. I like Joker's makeup and everything, and then 1917 to like you were mentioning, like how pale one of the characters looked. Like
that was intense. Like and that just gave me a chill in that. But that was just good old fashioned makeup.
Definitely.
Good old makeup to use.
Best costume design went to Little Women. Again, Joker and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really enjoyed of course, costumes in that. I didn't watch Little Women. You did.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. I thought that's something as well to deserve. You don't.
The costumes from what I've seen, it looked like interesting. Mm-hmm. It looked cool. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting to have. So that went to Jacqueline Duran. From her, which congrats to her. So she deserved that pretty well.
Best production design went to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which this one was a hard one to go up against because it had a lot of good movies too. Mm-hmm. Like 1917 could have easily took it as well, but what Tarantino did with a 60s Los Angeles to bring that nostalgia back and actually use the real Los Angeles for that, like,
right.
I think it had to go to him, especially like with the houses and everything that looks very 60s and stuff. Like, he did an amazing job.
It just, yeah, and that went to a woman named Barbara Ling, and then that woman did pretty well on as far as just that just whole set. I thought 1917 should have won it, but this, however,
cinematography, man. This is another category that had amazing movies to it too, and any one of these could have took it home. Yeah. Irishman, Joker, Lighthouse, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but 1917 took it home, and I think 1917 deserved to win Best Cinematography due to the sole purpose of
Roger Deakins, dude. Roger Deakins has a good background experience with. If you look at his history, Blade Runner 2049, Skyfall, Fargo, Sicario, Hail Caesar, you look at all these and they're just outstanding. This is actually his second win. He hasn't won one since in 2000, since his last win was in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
So that was pretty well.
Which was a beautiful movie.
Yes, that was pretty well set.
Yeah. Film editing went to Ford v Ferrari, which that takes home their second Oscar right there. And it was up against The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Parasite. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. Best animated feature, which I think it deserved it, was Toy Story 4. Those Toy Story movies, I've grown up with them.
Yeah, I love them. Yes, I thought exactly how that's the way to win it. Yeah. When Missy Link won Golden Globe, it was pretty shocking in a way because I thought to myself, then Toy Story's not going to win if that's going to be this, if it's going to be in this way. So if you look at the Oscar race, or if they win the Golden Globe, they won a Golden Globe, or for any actor,
they typically get the Oscar.
Yeah, it's a guaranteed Oscar, so that's where I was going to, but yeah, this changed a lot throughout the game, so I'm pretty glad that happened.
Yeah, best documentary went to Learning to Skateboard in a War Zone. Mm-hmm. If you're a girl, best documentary feature.
Tony Hawk was in that. Tony Hawk was like shown. Well, he was in
the audience.
The audience. It was pretty. I thought it was pretty surprising.
Best documentary feature, American Factory.
Pretty good.
Best international film, Corpus Christi, Honeyland, Les Miserables, Pain and Glory, and Parasite. Parasite took home Best International Film. This is the first year that they've changed it over from Best Foreign Film to International Film. Yes. So they gave it a new respective title.
Yes.
And
that was
the director came out in his speech and said, "I'm honored to be one of the first to take home this award with its new name." So that was cool.
That was great.
Best adapted screenplay was Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit. He was up against Joker, Irishman, Little Women, and The Two Popes.
I thought that was it was more a little comedic because I need to watch it again.
It had a lot of comedy.
It got comedy, but I have to watch it because I have to look at you have to look at it more of a screenwriter's aspect and see more because I'm not gonna say don't get me wrong. This writer has a good background history. He has a great history on writing, directing, and So that just let alone shows something.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good.
Best original screenplay went for the nominees were Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Marriage Story, Parasite, Knives Out, 1917. Parasite took it again with its was that third or third Oscar?
It's a third Oscar. Well, the total now it was 4 Oscars, but we're going to
get to that soon. I thought for sure Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was going to take it. Quentin Tarantino has always won the Oscar for this one, but
Quinn, like when he comes on, it's just the Oscars just the Academy just kind of gives it to him as praise of like, well, man, you have some good history.
Yeah,
give it to you.
Definitely.
Yeah, but that was a pretty shocker there. And
Parasite.
Yeah. We got supporting actress Laura Dern took it home. I already knew that was going to happen. Yeah. That's no surprise to me.
She went up against Scarlett Johansson, Margot Robbie, Florence Pugh, and Kathy Bates. And yes, she did a good job in Marriage Story, man. She played Scarlett Johansson's lawyer. You kind of hated her character in there because
Yeah, she played a really really.
She brought the realistic of a lawyer out.
It did. That's the whole. That's
the realism of a lawyer.
The realism of a lawyer, and this person went through a whole tragedy of a divorce. I think that's how background. If I'm reading it correctly, this person she wanted to portray as. She had she read a background of some famous lawyer that.
Similar kind of.
Yeah, because it was a celebrity lawyer, and this celebrity lawyer was that did Ashton Kutcher. That was a bunch of other actresses. I think one of them was Ashton Kutcher, obviously Demi Moore, and I can't think of another one, but that however just was kind of a surprising way. I'm trying to look at it right now. She was to read to quote on IMDb. Laura Dern's character is loosely based on a Los Angeles celebrity attorney, Laura Wesser. You all know who Laura Wesser is. She represents Scarlett Johansson and Noah. And Laura Dern, because Laura Dern has been divorced, which this is kind of a big movie like that. You gotta, this movie, these actors has been through marriages and horrible marriages and divorces, so that comes to mind. But that was pretty good.
Good one. Best supporting actor, it was Brad Pitt, who won for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then
no surprise.
He went up against Joe Pesci, Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino, and Tom Hanks. Mm-hmm. Brad Pitt, all award season, has been killing it for this character, and he won the Oscar for it. But you got to give it to Pesci, Pacino, Tom Hanks, and Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, there's a bunch of legends there. You got you see them in the past. You see a bunch of good movies, but I think Brad Pitt took it home.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and well deserved. I loved him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'm glad he took it home. He was great in there. Renee Zellweger won for Judy in Best Actress. She was up against Scarlett Johansson, Cynthia Erivo. I don't know. I'm sorry. Ervio. Yeah. Charlize Theron and Saoirse Ronan.
I thought this was. I haven't seen Judy, but I've seen the rest of these movies. Actually, you know what? I haven't seen Harriet or Judy, but I know from just reading from just reviews about playing Renee Zellweger portraying this character was pretty outstanding. So there is nothing to it. I'll keep that short. Best actor, Joaquin Phoenix took it home.
Again, he's been taking them home all award season.
Yeah, all award season. That's no surprise to me. This character that he played in Joker, full out creepy, disturbing, but he did it in a way that we enjoyed to watch him. And
he was up against Leo DiCaprio, Adam Driver, Antonio Banderas, and Jonathan Pryce. Mm-hmm. All great actors, but
he did a really good.
Joaquin, I think when playing the Joker, you go into that mindset where it's like straight up method, and you try to get become that character.
very method.
It's a very dangerous character to play. It really is. Like, look at the past.
Right.
I mean, Heath Ledger literally died playing that character. You know what I mean?
And this is that's what's great about it, is that this person didn't have to extremely go through that phase.
I mean, he lost a ton of weight for the movie.
He did, but he didn't have to easily go through that horrible method process. I'm not saying that Heath Ledger's method acting was a horrible process. He just was going through a tragic time through that. I can't remember. I can't refresh on what really happened. I know he overdosed, but like that, he didn't really. Joaquin did it in a way that he can still be sane and that in the world.
I mean, like, look at when I'm going back to that. It's like even when what's his name, Jack Nicholson played the Joker.
Right.
When Heath Ledger was, when he got the role, he like called up Heath Ledger and told him, "Don't let the Joker, get to you. Don't let him don't become the Joker." Yeah. He gave him like full blown warning about it. And same thing goes. He's not my favorite Joker. He's probably my least favorite out of every Joker. But Jared Leto, if you heard like the set stories behind him, he would give people like dead rats and gifts and stuff like that. Like weird shit on set. So
that's a method too. I don't like Jared Leto did a really good method acting too as well. So but again, how that ended didn't turn out the way it should be.
Yeah.
But it happened.
I think the only one that hasn't really gone insane playing the Joker, and that's because he just does the voice, is Mark Hamill.
Right.
Because it's different doing just a voice rather than actually pursuing the character.
Yeah. So it's different to playing a voice than Bethany as a real the character itself.
Definitely. Best director went to Bong Joon-ho from Parasite. He was up against Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, Sam Mendes, and Todd Phillips.
All good great directors. I think Parasite does deserve that take home win. Just from seeing his from his view was just astounding. I can't tell you. Now to Best Picture, obviously again, Parasite won. Took it out, giving a total 4 Oscars, which is a history because that's the first Korean non-English film to win Best Picture. That's insane.
No, it made history tonight out of the 92 years that they've been doing the Oscars.
Yeah, that's just that's insane. I can't even think of that. But other than that, if you haven't seen Parasite, go and watch it. I still gotta check it out.
That was like I didn't watch that or Little Women. So I didn't watch the Oscar list, but I watched them all the rest.
Watch it and you'll just. Yeah, I think it's just a very thrilling show to watch.
Definitely. So. Is there anything that you wish would have gotten nominated for an Oscar?
Uncut Gem was. I haven't
seen that, but
I heard that that should have been well deserved. I thought I keep on forgetting his name. I think I keep on Terry Egerton on as Rocket Man. I thought that should have been on the category.
I feel like Avengers should have been nominated for a couple more things too.
Yes, they could have been nominated for.
And I'm not saying that because I love Marvel, which I do, but it's like I don't know. I mean, I feel like the performances they put out, like a lot of those actors were like their last movies.
Exactly.
Like the performances they put out, and like the build up leading up, the 10 years leading up to this. It's like.
I haven't seen any of. I haven't seen Knives Out or Bombshell, but I feel like one of those could be added or two.
I think Knives Out could have gotten a little bit more out of it. I mean, they only got nominated for original screenplay, which I feel like it could have gotten a little bit more.
That's okay too.
Basically, original screenplay is almost like winning Best Picture. They're basically telling you your story was really good.
Yeah,
it's exactly. It's basically that. But I think that, and what else do I think should have gotten a nomination for an Oscar?
I think that's so far as it for me. I can't think of anything else.
I'm trying to think of any good horror movies that came out last year because I think they need to do like a horror category. Like they don't really have one of those, and I
They
really
don't
wish they.
have they have them probably in a different award ceremony, but not for the Academy. The
Well,
Academy takes it.
they have a whole horror like academy, like kind of not Academy Award, but like award
Oh,
shows.
you know what? Lighthouse. I thought Lighthouse should have been.
Been more. I think it only got nominated for like one Oscar.
Yeah, one Oscar. I don't know what. I haven't seen it, but I really want to. I really like William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Two good.
I wanted to see it too. I have it too. I just have to watch it. I just don't have
Right.
some time to watch it.
Right. So I don't have anything else added.
Yeah.
I just but that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about We're gonna talk about Kurt Douglas. Passed away at 103. Man,
That is a long life.
They actually have a good gene, the Douglas family. They apparently, so that's how I think for Michael Douglas especially, he's gonna live in a very long life.
Yeah.
I'm hoping longer than his father, but that let alone just like it was that time, like he was getting to that age. Well, it's just like it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong enough. Who else? God.
I mean, he was Spartacus, dude, the original Spartacus. Like, I mean, I remember talking to my dad about that when he passed away. Like, yeah, he was getting old and all that, but it's just kind of a it's kind of a bittersweet moment when any actor.
Yeah, you know what? He had his history was pretty set. Well, it was pretty good as well. I'm trying to look for it. His he played Spartacus. He played he was in a movie called The Vikings. He was in a bunch of other ones, and he's been nominated for 3 Oscars: The Bad and Beautiful and Champion, which that one was a boxer movie.
Yeah.
Which Sylvester Stallone, when he wrote a tribute to Kurt, he showed that champion photo and said a really nice thing about him, about how it inspired him to be Rocky who he is.
Yeah.
So,
rest in peace, Kurt.
Rest in peace, Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt Douglas, man. Can we talk about the video of Taika Waititi hiding his Oscar under the chair? That's pretty funny.
That was great. No one wants to freaking get stolen, but Oscar stolen. I mean, I don't think no one has.
You know who recorded the video too, right?
Yeah, it's Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, yeah. She was sitting right next to him, and you can see him hiding his Oscar. He just did it to be funny.
I think so.
It's Taika.
Taika Waititi?
I can expect less from Taika.
Yeah.
He plays Corey, dude.
Dude, freaking Corey. So freaking funny in that one.
Yeah, I thought that was something just to talk about real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is the second time an actor playing the Joker has won an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger won it back when Dark Knight came out, and now Joaquin Phoenix has won it as his Joker.
What would be, like, how can that be? I don't know. How can that change, though, in some ways? Like, the movie itself, which is in Best Picture, Best Screenplay, how does something like that just get pawned to? Like,
what movie?
Joker. I'm just still stunned.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie, but I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it was
going from a DC universe too, and
I mean, it was up against a lot of great, movies. But the thing I liked about this movie too is like in the beginning, usually DC shows off their logo, and with this movie, they didn't do that.
Yes,
it was kind of like its own standalone movie in a way, based off a DC character.
Yeah,
in that universe, but.
So in the Oscars though, they showed they had some good and worse moments. I think one of the good moments actually was Eminem coming out and playing his
Lose Yourself,
which that was great.
Because
except for Billie Eilish, because Billie Eilish didn't apparently like it. Her face was fucking.
No, Billie Eilish actually, like after a while, she clapped and everything. She was into it.
But
She may have just been nervous, dude. At her age, and she's performing at the Oscars. Dude, she's like 19.
Yeah, she did them.
She's probably one of the youngest persons to perform at the Oscars.
Yeah, exactly.
So, 2010s, man. Let's talk about every Best Picture in the 2010s. I have them all right here.
Oh, you do?
2010, The King's Speech.
Yes. Have you seen that?
No, there's I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 movies out of the 10 years that I have not seen. 2011, we went to The Artist.
Yes, that was the best silent film I've seen. I got to watch that.
That was a silent film?
Yep.
And it won Best Picture?
It won Best Picture.
Wow.
That was the first silent film, I think, in decades.
This movie I did watch, Argo.
Yep.
Ben Affleck.
That was his prime time year. That was the best.
Because he did The Town, and then 2 years later he did Argo.
Argo, fuck yourself.
12 Years Slave, 2013.
Yes, that was Brad Pitt's first Oscar, too. Because he produced that.
Oh, he was produced. Yeah,
he did actually show up in that movie too. He played one of the citizens. He when Chadwick's Chadwick. Gosh dang it.
Lucy was our IMDb guy.
Yes, sorry.
It's all good now.
12 years.
Chadwick Boseman's in it.
Chidwell's character Solomon Northup came when he showed up, and Brad Pitt played Bass, so he was like this citizen character. I think he bought in the movie, not to really much spoil it, but there was a good chemistry between those two characters.
Yeah,
and Brad Pitt was pretty much the nice man to buy. I guess do something.
He was a good guy.
He was a good guy, and then in general, it was a great movie. I thought it was fantastic. Stephen McQueen wrote and directed that. So, good shit.
2014 went to Birdman, which I've yet to still see. I gotta watch it.
Birdman, yep. That was another one-shot movie. That was the best one I thought that was amazing.
Now, the 2 one-shot movies that you've watched so far, I mean, you've probably seen more, but Birdman or 1917, which one do you think had better cinematography for the case of a one-shot?
I don't want to say it because it's very current, but I think 1917 was the best one because that one had a lot more action to it.
Yeah.
And just
well, I mean, and you got to look at it too. It's like 2 different genre movies, but as far as cinematography goes, I mean, I haven't yet to see Birdman, but I'm well aware of the whole one-shot purpose, and it's more about him being this old TV superhero, right?
Yes.
And he's just trying to. He's been retired for a while, but he's trying to come back as that kind of hero in a way, and he thinks he's that hero. But
Michael
Keaton.
Michael Keaton's great.
Michael Keaton, he can put him in any movie.
And Edward Norton in that too. What's like outstanding.
Ed Norton's in that.
Yeah, Edward Norton.
I know Emma Stone's in it too.
Yeah,
she plays his daughter, right?
Yeah, his daughter.
Yeah,
but he plays one of the theater actors.
Oh, okay.
And which I believe he replaces.
I mean,
he's like one of the supporting actors, which is kind of funny because he got nominated for a supporting actor role for that.
Yeah, I mean, I love Ed Norton. Ed Norton, he does a lot of good stuff, and 2015 went to Spotlight.
Yes.
I never seen Spotlight.
That was a pretty. It's very historical. If you learn about the history about them knowing about the priests, I think there was a whole priest scandal going on that was during the time, which was pretty outstanding how that turned out. I thought that was amazing. So Spotlight right there. Who else was in it?
2016 went to Moonlight, and that was the year that they fucked up. They went to
Bonnie and Clyde fucked that up, dude.
We were talking about that too during the Oscars. I was like, they just better not fuck up Best Picture again this year.
Fucking Clyde gave her Bonnie the category.
I think, and I
couldn't read it. Here you go.
I was telling you about that too. I think because if you listen to his when he talks about that, he goes, right. I was just confused, so I handed it to her to make maybe she can make some sense of it.
And people weren't believing that, so they were just like, we can't, we don't like that.
He's like, I'm gonna hand the Oscar to my friends at Moonlight. I mean, it was a very embarrassing moment. But for him to man up,
except for something like Parasite. If you guys didn't watch the lights went out, and then they showed Jane Fonda, and Jane Fonda was saying what do I do?
At that point, I thought, oh man, they fucked up again this year.
Yeah, I was like, gosh damn it, what are they gonna do now?
2017 went to The Shape of Water. Now I did like The Shape of Water.
I thought that was great.
It was a very interesting movie.
Interesting,
but you gotta imagine it's Guillermo del Toro. He's an interesting person.
It showed more about doesn't matter who you are. The flaws don't matter of who you are, and it's about more of a love.
Yeah.
Of show.
You know, prior to that movie, he was like 10 years. He's been trying to get that movie. He was trying to get that movie to come out.
How many? I'm sorry. How many?
Prior to it came out in 2017. He's been trying for 10 years to get that movie off the ground, and he finally did. He had when they first brought it up, he had made that that suit the creature wears.
Mm-hmm.
It's a legit suit, and he had made that, and he this is what I want.
He's been working with that guy that wore the suit that portrayed that character.
Oh yeah, he worked with them. He was Abe Sapien in Hellboy.
Yes, he was Abe Sapien in Hellboy. He played in the Labyrinth film, and he played in.
That's like one of his boys.
Mm-hmm, just one of his boys that played. So.
I feel like though with that creature, I think he gets a lot of inspiration from the creature of the Black Lagoon.
Yes, I think that
I would just think the only difference is the eyes are a little bit wider, but that's about it. But
that guy's name is Doug Jones.
Yeah, he's done a lot of work for.
He's done a lot of work, but I think that was the whole point was to just they and then them. It was set in the '60s too, so it was kind of it was set just pretty well out. It was stand out pretty well. So I thought it was a great.
Did you know Guillermo del Toro had a fucking amazing script for a Justice League Dark film and they turned it down?
Damn.
Dude, I love the Justice League Dark with Constantine, Swamp Thing, Zatanna, Deadman.
He's a good writer, but it's just
and they turned it down. He really wanted to do it, and he was all for it.
Yeah.
They had showed concept arts of who he wanted to cast at each character, and it was a lot of really well-known actors, and it would have been a pretty good movie if they would have went through with it. I think they still want to do a Justice League Dark movie, but I don't know if Guillermo del Toro is going to be involved with it.
You're talking about how it's kind of funny because it actually does say a true fact about it. You're talking about the Black Lagoon. He said he got this and heavily inspired by the Black Lagoon in 1954.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon's character says they picked it up in the Amazon River in South America, which setting the creature from the film. And
because he does say that in the movie where that's where they got it from.
Yes.
So it's probably loosely in his world a tie-in, just to kind of nod to there's more than one creature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of keep that universe alive.
I think from from what I heard too, and don't quote me on it, the woman that plays this in this film, Sally Hawkins, that plays
the Deaf Lady.
The Deaf Lady, Alicia. How she got that role. She was playing a previous film. She was playing I believe in a foreign film or a non-foreign film, I believe. But was nominated for an Oscar, but so Guillermo del Toro, after that got some little praise for it. Guillermo del Toro sent her a message saying I want you to play for this
movie.
I got this movie, and I think it was by email, and then they sent it to her, and she said yes.
She doesn't really talk through the whole. She makes a couple noises in the movie, but she's mostly doing sign language.
Which is
no, it did awesome. Yeah, it did awesome. It was a good concept. 2018 went to Green Book.
Yeah, that movie was outstanding just from the chemistry between Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen. It was Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, his driver. I mean, and we were talking about this during the Oscars while we were watching it. I like a lot of the chemistry you see as they go further and further in the tour. They become closer and closer.
Yes.
And it's just really good on-screen chemistry they have together. And spoilers, but at the end when he invites them over for Thanksgiving and stuff, you can tell he really had no one, and he invited him over, and even when his family saw him come in, they were kind of shocked at first, but then they accepted him as who he is.
Well, it was actually made by written by a guy named Nick Vallelonga. I think he was involved with this whole part. I mean, the story. It's based on a true story.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is with this movie, And he defends him a lot in the movie because there were scenes where like he would go play at like clubs and stuff. Mind you, this was the time of like Martin Luther King and a lot of the racism,
Right.
the civil acts and all that,
Mm-hmm.
the civil rights movement and everything. So like a lot of the times in this movie, you see he's getting treated different, Mahershala Ali, and it's like it's due to the fact. So he comes to his rescue a lot and helps him out. Like there's one scene in particular where he's playing at this restaurant and he puts him in a green room, which is, if you guys don't know what a green room is, it's usually a place where like artists go before like the show to kind of just relax and get prepared and everything.
Same thing as an improv.
Yeah. So he went to this green room and his green room was literally just a closet, and he goes, "I'm not changing in there." And he goes, "Well, you can't go into he wanted to get something to eat too. He's like, "You can't eat at this restaurant." And his driver comes to the aid and like, "Why can't he eat here? He's performing here. We just have a rule. His kind are not allowed to eat here." He goes, "Well, that's bullshit. He's performing here." And they get in like this big fight. He goes, "If you want to go eat, there's a place down the street they serve your kind and everything." And he goes, "No, let the guy eat here." Like they get in that. So you can see, like I said, throughout the film, he's defending him. He's getting closer to him, and it's one of those movies where it's just like it's a really beautiful movie, really, because the music's good.
Yeah, you go through. Yeah, the movie is good, and just from there, from the going to that scene where the two black men were drinking the lemonade
Yeah.
in the first scene, and then Tony Lip, which is Viggo Mortensen's character, sees it and he throws it in the trash.
Yeah.
Just because the two black men were drinking, like they were fixing the faucet, and then the wife gave some lemonade to him, and he just like looks at it, like he just throws it away. To helping out with Donald Marshall Lee's character,
Yeah.
is saying like, well, if you want something to eat, he was trying to defend the guy.
Yeah.
It's a huge.
He's like he's playing here. Why can't he eat here?
Yeah, huge swap, huge 360.
No, yeah.
And I thought that in a way turned out so well. So and it was.
Yeah, I watched Green Book for the first time over like the Christmas time. I think it was Christmas or Thanksgiving. I don't remember, but we were just it was on New Year's Eve, because we had eaten Pasola and they put it on and I had never seen it and I've always wanted to watch it, and I'm glad I watched it because it was a really good movie. And then of course 2019 went to Parasite, a movie I have not seen yet, but Lucille's seen.
It is. I'm not. I don't want to spoil it so much, but you guys need to watch it.
It made history tonight.
It made history. If it made history,
it's the first foreign film to win Best Picture.
And just pretty much you see this. They're all unemployed, and this wealthy family like takes them to work at this place, and and it turns out there's more and more things than just that they find out in the house. Yeah. And it's just a thrilling
piece of
cinema. Funny too. There are some good funny moments in it. It's just a great cinema. And I feel like we need to watch more films like this these days, like more international films, and because they do have great stories, and they are great. They are beautifully written.
Yeah.
And so we got the character that it's kind of funny because that character that played Kim Kaitik, I think. I can't pronounce his name. Sorry, I can't pronounce his last name. Sorry, but the guy that played that character, the main character, Kang Ho Song, he is actually going to play in an upcoming Marvel film called
Shang-Chi.
Yes, I believe that's him. Why am I not showing that it's not him?
Maybe it's not him.
Maybe it's not him. Maybe they took him off. Well, I thought he was gonna play, but they were gonna do a Marvel film. What was it called? Can you describe it one more?
Shang-Chi. It's basically like Marvel's version of Bruce Lee in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very Asian driven culture.
Yes.
And we're supposed to get the actual Mandarin in this film. Because if you guys don't know, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Iron Man 3, we got a version of the Mandarin, which I was so on board for, and I forget the actor. He's a great actor. He played like the fake version of the Mandarin. He was just like the on-screen, and then you find out he's just acting. But from what Kevin Feige has told us at Comic-Con last year, that the real Mandarin is we're going to see the real Mandarin, and he's pissed off about what they did with his image and stuff. So
I might be then I'm wrong then, because the guy that's going to play him,
Shang-Chi,
it is called Simulu. Simulu.
Yeah.
So
that's not due for I think another like year or two. I think when's it come?
It's not going to come out till next year.
Next year,
2021. So.
Yeah, because at the Marvel panel they had at Comic-Con this year, they just announced I think the first 5 years of Phase 4.
Yes.
And a lot of it had to do heavily with Disney Plus because of the new streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
Which, while we're on that subject, they did come out with the release dates for Falcon Winter Soldier, Mandalorian, and WandaVision. So it's going to be August, Falcon Winter Soldier. That's going to go on for 2 months. When that ends, like usually within the next week or the same week, Mandalorian is going to start in October for season 2. And then when that ends, which will be around December time, WandaVision will start up. And I think they haven't announced yet, but I think after 2 months of that, the Loki series will start.
Yeah, they just started with that, and they showed a very small brief of what was going to happen.
Burn this place to the ground.
Yeah, and pretty much. And
there's a lot of Easter
stuff.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in there, though.
Mm-hmm. There is.
I watched the whole video.
Did you see the tag, the little tag that he?
Yeah, it's based around the so-called like these time cops that are.
I don't even know what that is. So I don't know.
Yeah, so when they mess with time, and a lot of it deals more in the comics. I don't remember which ones they come out in, but basically anyone who messes with time, these guys step in. If they alter history, if they alter something, these guys will step in and they'll try to fix people and fix everything.
Yeah.
But before we get on to that, because I know what you're looking at, there's one last thing I want to talk about that's Oscar related.
Yes.
And this is going back to the Joker. This tweet says, talents, friends, icons, jokers, winners, legends. Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix both won the Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, BAFTA, SAG, and Oscar for their iconic performance as the Joker. So not only did they both win Oscars for their performances, but when award season was going on, they both won every best actor.
They swept through all that.
Best actor, best supporting actor, roles for it. I mean,
you can't mess with them.
In Joaquin's case, it was best actor, and in Heath Ledger's case, it was best supporting actor because Batman obviously is the main character of that series. But
right.
I just think that's really cool. They were really good friends in real life, and for them to both
that's
win.
That's a photo of them, right?
Right here, right here next to them.
Damn, dude. Yeah. I think that's when he was doing The Master.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, which is fucking great. Damn, that was so good.
But for them to both win every award during award season for the iconic character of the Joker, both iconic performances, by the way. I still think The Dark Knight to this day is my favorite live-action Batman movie.
I love it.
Sole purposely due to the fact of Heath Ledger's Joker.
I love it. It turned out to be a really great Batman film from beginning to end. Showed a great story.
Yeah.
Had it great acting with the great performance with Heath Ledger.
Yeah, we got two amazing villains in there too, Two-Face and the Joker.
Right, and which Aaron Eckhart played pretty well as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I thought that was I like a lot of people. I know a lot of people say that Heath Ledger's Joker is the best Joker, and that's it.
I disagree.
Yes, I disagree with that because there's so much more. We got it. I know
he is probably in my top 3.
Yes,
I would say he's number 2. My number 1, and a lot of people always give me shit about this, just because he does the voice acting. I love Mark Hamill's Joker, hands down.
Yeah, he did really good.
I mean, I get it. He's not a live action actor, but he still has done the Joker, and it's so much to the point now. Every time I read a comic with a Joker in it, that's whose voice I hear.
And then the same thing you go with like Kevin Conroy,
Yeah, when I read a comic book, that's the voice I hear.
Exactly.
Because I grew up watching the animated series. I grew up playing the video games. Like I can't tell you how much hours I put into all those Arkham games. Yeah. I fucking would just play those nonstop. I would replay them, and it's Kevin Conroy's voice and Mark Hamill as the Joker. So
I don't blame you. Yeah,
those are the two I've heard more than anybody playing Batman or Joker. It's like those are the two I've always heard, and to me, those two will always go down as the best Batman and Joker duo of all time.
I haven't seen. I haven't seen. I haven't. I really don't pick on based on these top. Heath Ledger, Jared, Joaquin. I don't pick on the top. George Romero. I don't even pick on those top people, but I thought it was just great. They're two great talents. I wish Jared Leto did better, but that character is now just been thrown in the trash, and for many reasons. But but for that, with that seeing Joaquin's portraying character as the Joker was just chilling. It's just a disturbing look, and it just remind me of how much of Heath Ledger's character was portrayed like that in some ways. So it brought a really good, aspect of it. So
after that, after we do that one, because I do want to talk about that one. I have one more we'll talk about because it opened this weekend, and I want to talk a little bit about it.
But. Well, so there's a huge talk saying, there's a huge talk saying about Sam Raimi, the director. We have
notably for the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire, and of course the Evil Dead saga.
And he is in talks for doing Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, because for reason being it's because of how it's being drawn as a horror film. They want to portray it. They want it to be as shown as that. Which I don't know what your thoughts are.
So the original director left because of creative differences.
Yes.
However, I do heard they have a script already written. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm all on board for Sam Raimi because that means two things. One, Sam Raimi created The Evil Dead, which is probably one of the most iconic horror movies to date.
It is.
And, you got that character of Ash Williams with the chainsaw hand and the shotgun. And then, of course, the Deadites. I've watched every Evil Dead movie. I've watched every Evil Dead. I've watched the TV show. I love Bruce Campbell for starters. Bruce Campbell has always been one of my favorite actors. And he's probably the biggest indie movie actor of all time. But what he did with those Evil Dead movies, like the first one was supposed to be straight up scary. Now it wouldn't be scary, but, everybody looks at it just as an iconic film. I think for the first Evil Dead.
Yes.
I think for the time too. The Deadites look pretty fucking scary.
Yes.
For that time, like if I were to go see that in theaters, like I'd probably be terrified. And then with Evil Dead 2, he took a more comedic approach with it. Same thing with the rest of the universe, and Evil Dead from then on was more of a horror comedy. And if you guys aren't familiar with this, with Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2, there was two different production companies. So if you watch Evil Dead 2, the intro re-explains all of Evil Dead 1, but it leaves out a lot of stuff. And that was due to the fact that they couldn't get complete rights to Evil Dead, so they kind of had to change up the story a little bit to kind of make it their own. So if you watch Evil Dead 2 in the beginning, he's just talking about him and his girlfriend went up there and his sister, and that, they all died and he lived. When in reality, in the first Evil Dead, it was like him and 5 other friends, and they all died and he lived. Mm-hmm. So the way Bruce Campbell explains it, if you start Evil Dead 2 at the part where the camera is rushing towards him and he gets possessed by the Deadite, and if you start it from right there, it still ties into Evil Dead 1. So with a franchise like Evil Dead and a franchise like Spider-Man, I have a lot of faith of Sam Raimi taking up Doctor Strange because, and here goes my second point, Sam Raimi likes to use a lot of practical effects because, look at Evil Dead. The practical effects for that were fucking amazing. Spider-Man. A lot of them were practical effects. A lot of which are practical effects, and they were fucking amazing. I liked all three of the Spider-Man movies. Not a lot of people liked the third Spider-Man movie with Venom.
Yeah, it was pretty silly.
For me, and this was everyone's biggest problem with that movie was Venom.
Yeah, well, no, I thought Venom was okay in some ways.
Everyone didn't like Venom for some reason, but for me, I was just happy to finally see him on screen, in a live action, because I had never thought in a million years I was going to see Spider-Man with Venom. And now we're back at this stage where we have a Venom, we have a Spider-Man, but we have yet to see them on screen yet. And there's been a lot of talks that Sony,
which is happening. Yeah,
there's been a lot of talks that Sony's going to try to get Spider-Man for Venom 2, and they're going to try to cross universes and everything. So
it takes time to do that. They want to perfect something like that in so many ways, so that works. It's going to work pretty well. I think it's going to work pretty well if they put the time and work to it. Yeah. They think pretty thorough of how that's going to work.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. So
I have a ton of faith if they get Sam Raimi in.
I want to bring some faith into this, but then looking at like the Spider-Man 3 and then looking at the Wizard of Oz, which was like, yeah, he did. It's called Oz the Great and Powerful. It was in 2013.
Dude, the one that Disney did.
Yes,
he did that.
He directed.
I actually enjoyed that movie.
I thought it was okay. There are some parts that I just were. I'm not very against the man. I think he can do it. Then just maybe some. I know there's a lot of you are saying they're not a fan of, and there's some people are not. They have some faith. I don't know. I can't say enough, but say that I'm in right 50-50 with this one.
I think he's gonna do a good job due to the fact that. I mean, did you watch Crawl?
I heard it was good.
It was really good, and this is coming from someone who I always shit on my dad when like a fucking monster movie or like a sea creature movie comes out. Like for example, Meg. I refuse to watch it because it looks like a piece of shit movie, but my dad fucking defends that movie till.
I thought it was great. Meg was pretty good. It's not any better like Jaws, because someone wrote in one of the critics saying it was the best movie since Jaws, and I say fuck. Fuck that. No.
With the Meg, I refuse to watch it. A lot of it has to do with Jason Statham.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the guy, but there was a lot of fucking I watched a lot of clips on it and stuff, and just a lot of his lines were fucking stupid. And there was actually one scene where I think he kicks the shark in the nose, which I thought was fucking dumb.
So funny.
But the idea of a giant megalodon shark, because I know those actually used to exist in prehistoric times. I mean, I think that's cool. If they just need to write it different, and if they would have made the movie rated R, I think it would have been a lot better.
Right.
Which I heard they're working on a sequel, and they are going to plan on making it rated R, but we'll see.
It could work. And like I said, we really don't. Like I said, but going back to
Crawl though.
Crawl, yeah. Going back to Crawl, how was that?
Well, I mean, and like I said, I'm not one to watch these type of movies, but I figured Sam Raimi, I'll give it a shot. He just produced it though, but. And we'll get to his producing career because he just produced a shitter in the beginning of the year, which was horrible.
Yeah.
But with Crawl, I mean, it had me on my feet the entire time. It was like, this girl goes to save her dad. There's a hurricane gonna hit Florida, and she goes to save her dad, and he's in this crawl space, and there's alligators that are trying to kill them at the same time.
In Florida.
In the trailer, it sounded like a stupid concept because I remember watching these trailers like, this looks fucking stupid. But then when I finally sat down and watched it, the fucking intensity of the movie, it just is just like, oh my god, this is good. Like, she's trying to get her dad, and they're trying to figure out a way. They're stuck in this crawl space. They're trying to figure out every way to get out. But as the hurricane gets worse and worse, more alligators start coming in. So, I mean, it's a fucking good movie, but. Now going to his recently produced movie, which was The Grudge remake. I saw that movie for free. I went to I went to test screen it.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrible. They literally took the curse of
You went through the maze for that, right?
There's a maze.
Where at Universal Horror Nights.
When did they do that? What year?
20. 17, 18. They did the classic though. Oh, The Grudge.
Which one do you think I was talking about?
Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, I'm in on like a long. I'm still recovering from the best picture showcase. So
what movie did you think I was talking about?
Poltergeist. The Grudge though, yeah.
No, The Grudge was
the remake.
Yeah, all they did was Americanize the curse. They literally.
I heard about that.
It starts in Japan with the original, curse, and you see the two kids like for a brief second, and then the girl who was the caregiver at the house, she ends up going back to America and she brings the curse with her. That's all they did was Americanize the curse. That was it. It was a piece of shit. I saw it with Sammy. Like I said, we got invited to go to a test screening.
The original, man. Yeah.
We got invited to go to a test screening, and I'm so glad I saw that movie for free. I wish I hadn't seen it at all, but if I was going to see it, it was going to be for free. But yeah, we saw that.
Original, yeah. We want to do that for sure.
Yeah. It was cool. We used to do a lot of those test screenings over the summer when I worked days because we could do them. We saw Zombieland 2 before it came out. It was without like finished CGI, but it was
That's good.
They did change a couple of things within the test screening and the actual. Have you seen Zombieland 2 yet?
No, I've seen the first one.
So in Zombieland 2, I don't know if you remember the first one. They started with the Metallica song "For Whom the Bell Tolls," and in Zombieland 2, they do a similar thing. And in the test screener, they played Master of Puppets. But then in the final cut, they play, I think, Enter Sandman. Or I think it was vice versa.
Gotcha.
No, it was Enter Sandman in the test cut, which I thought fit perfect. And then when they recut it, it was Metallica's Master of Puppets.
So final cut.
Yeah.
First, you got to see the first cut, but then
it was like a cut. I don't know if it was the first cut.
Yeah,
because it was not finished with CGI, but they put in like
that's why they put it as a test screen.
No, yeah,
to make sure
it's more on the line of how it does with audiences.
I guess.
So that's how they determine what they can rate it as far as the rating goes, because you're required to take a survey after. So that's how they do it to rate it, and that's how they determine what age-appropriate audience it's meant for. But yeah, we've done I think 2 or 3 of those, and it was.
I need to do one of those.
Yeah, you got. I could send you the link the next time I get one if you're ever free. I mean, but like a lot of the places there. I mean, we got lucky with the 2 that we saw. They were at the Long Beach Edwards,
right.
But a lot of them are like in Burbank or in Los Angeles or something.
Oh,
so
okay. That's not too bad.
I mean, they do a couple right here in the block of Orange. So
right. They had one when I was at. When I was doing the Best Picture Showcase, they had a movie. They had a screening event going on, but I didn't know what movie it was. I didn't get to ask. They had there was a lot of projectors, and there were like cameras going around. So and there was like they were passing out like a bunch of free items to like the guests that were promoters. I mean the people that were promoting the film.
But yeah, I'm all for Sam Raimi doing this.
No, Marvel has no comment yet, so we're still in pending of what is going to happen.
It was either they're in talks or it was rumored that he was in talks.
They're in talks. They're in talks.
And same thing with Emily Blunt. They just talked with her. They're in talks for her being in a major role, and a lot of people are speculating Invisible Woman for Fantastic Four.
Yes. I think we discussed that a little bit, but I know they did the same thing with like Christian Bale. And they did
Christian Bale. Now it's leaning towards him being, I think, a villain. And they said he would be a CGI character. I was hoping they would cast him as Beta Ray Bill, but
we don't know.
I don't know if we'll ever get a Beta Ray Bill, but hopefully
we'll find out soon. This is all pending going through, and then
Well, one of the things I want to talk about. You have another thing you want to talk about too?
No, go ahead.
Well, the last thing I want to talk about then, if this is going to be it, then is Birds of Prey's numbers this weekend.
Yeah. I had a friend that gave that 8 out of 10, but I want to know.
Aaron?
That was Aaron.
Yeah, I talked to Aaron about it too. Birds of Prey was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. First of all, I've only seen it right now as of this recording. Lucille has not seen it yet. So
did you see it as more of like a comedy, as in a way, or more of like this is more of a serious?
Throughout the movie, Harley Quinn is the narrator.
Okay.
She's telling her whole story of how she broke up with the Joker, how she's doing now, and everything.
Not to spoil it.
Not to spoil it too much. And then there was it had been confirmed, which this one kind of made me a little mad, And before I go out and say this, because I don't want to get any heat for this, I'll full blown say it right now. I have no problem with anybody who is gay, lesbian. I have friends that are gay and lesbian, and I fully appreciate their decision and what they want to, be. I'm fully on board with it. However, my argument, and we were talking a little bit about this on the car away, is that if there are certain characters that were written either in comics or they've already been written for years, in my opinion, I feel that they shouldn't change the way they are. And I'm bringing this up because in the movie it was confirmed that Black Mask, the villain, was gay. However, he never fully comes out and says it in the movie, but there are character traits in the movie that kind of lean towards that. So my thing is this, like, Black Mask in the comics never was, and I felt like they should have just left it alone. However, that didn't stop me from not liking this movie because Ewan McGregor did a fucking amazing job as the Black Mask. Mm-hmm. And I think that role was meant for him. I'm glad we finally got to see a live action character adaptation of the Black Mask, and it was a fucking phenomenal role. But overall, like, the movie, I think Chris was saying when he walked in earlier that, Huntress and Canary had no point in the movie. They could have made it easily a sequel. I do agree to that to a certain extent. I think Canary's character was necessary. However, Huntress's character, they made it necessary, but the movie could have gone without her. Because she kind of, like, when she would pop in and out, like, she didn't really say much. She was badass in the film, but she didn't do as much either. Canary was, the actress who played her is so beautiful. The girl who plays Harley Quinn is beautiful. Mary Elizabeth Weinstein is beautiful as well. But this movie, I was a little iffy about it when it came out, but I still wanted to see it, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Going back to those kind of like those critics. How do you put it? People are wanting to like force on changing a different character, who they are.
Like, whether it be gender, the way they kind of
gender, race,
gay, straight,
whatever. I know we talked about it, and I was mentioning about how they were wanting to have Brie Larson as a lesbian and a powerful, like, Black woman. I'm not. I love all my LGBTQ people. I'm not against that at all. Yeah. Not to go.
In no way is there racism. There's no. It's just, it's just like there's certain characters that in comic history or like whatever lore, like if there's a history behind this character that's just been portrayed in a certain way for so many years.
When you establish a character like that, what is it's already established at getting to it's already and I don't mind the idea of saying, well, hey, how about how about Superman becomes a black man, and it's okay.
Yeah,
it's totally. I'm like, that's okay. I'm like, great. That's an idea. Maybe it could be in a just a made up story, or but don't over exaggerate, force it into the universe they're already trying to establish. They already established it on. If that makes sense in some way, I'm trying to
yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying like they have a Superman who's in the movies that is a white dude, and then they make another Superman movie, but they want it to be a black dude.
Yeah. But like, if you gotta think, if the Superman was already a black man in the beginning, we already kept it as a Superman as a black man.
Today
we already kept it as that, and changed to a white man, and then, like, how would that happen? It would still be the same situation.
I was telling you that on the way here too. Like, Batman and Superman have been around for 80+ years.
Right.
And it's just a thing. Like, I had heard that they were in talks of wanting to make a Superman movie where he was black, and I was like, okay. I mean, I know in a multiverse that there is a black Superman, and if they were going to go off that storyline, I get it. But if they wanted to make it like mainstream Superman, I'm just like, well, Superman's been just this white guy for 80 years.
Yeah, it's all just and probably just rumors, probably people's opinions. Now, and it's okay to have your opinion. It's totally okay. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And I would totally go for that. But when you're trying to over exaggerate and put it towards the studio itself, that they already from the beginning established,
Yeah.
you're putting a bullet on your fucking feet.
Right? I'm more on board of like a gay character or like
that's great.
Like a different colored character or different, I'm more on board of it if it's going to be an original character that they come up with.
Yeah.
Where it's not something that's in the comics and or if it is in the comics and the character's that way already, then
go for it. Go for it.
If you want to make up something,
do the same thing with Star Wars too. You do that. That's the same example.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But if you want to come up with your own character for the movies and do that, like I'm perfectly fine with that. But if it's a character that's been a certain way for so many years, and then they bring him in and then they tweak it to make him like gay or like a different gender and stuff. But I mean, okay. And I will say this, there is certain times where they have done that with certain characters that it actually has working out. Wonder Woman for the longest time was an American white woman. And then when they did the Wonder Woman movie, Gal Gadot, who is, I believe, from Iran. Israel. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. Shout out to Chris. She's from Israel. She served in the Israeli army and everything. She came on. And she's changed that character the way I looked at it from like here coming, forth.
And she succeeded
it. So I mean, she went from a girl who played, and I forget. Can you look up the actress who played Wonder Woman in the original TV series? No, in the original TV series. I forget her name, but you went from her playing this character on the TV series to
Linda Carter
to Gal Gadot portraying it into the movies. Same thing with Jason Momoa.
Yeah. Arthur Curry is supposed to be white.
Aquaman is a white guy.
Blonde white
guy. But then they changed him more to this island type character, like a Samoan.
Yeah.
Who he is in real life. And the same thing goes with this movie with Black Canary. In the comics, Black Canary is actually white. Mm-hmm. And her name is Laurel Lance and everything. And if you watch Arrow, her character's on Arrow. Her dad is on Arrow. Now, I don't know if her dad is part of the comics or not. I have not ventured that far in, but he is in the show, and Laurel Lance is a white person. The Black Canary is white, but they changed her to black. But the actress who portrayed the Black Canary, I wasn't mad about one bit because she looked beautiful. I think she looked beautiful, but that's not why I think I just think she did a very good job as playing the Black Canary. So I mean,
herself was.
I mean, if you do tweaks to minor characters that are, like my only argument is if you tweak a major character that everyone is well known. Like if you were to make Spider-Man, there's a Miles Morales, dude. He's a black Spider-Man. And he's amazing.
Yes.
I love Miles Morales. So and they gave him his own movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was fucking amazing.
Denise Bell, that's her name. I can't pronounce her name pretty well, but go ahead.
And you got Peter Parker, who I remember Tom Holland was saying he was interested in making this character gay. I'm like, dude, Spider-Man has never been gay in any form of comics. As far as I know of, like, the Peter Parker Spider-Man that we know and love has always been just a straight, nerd who is trying to make it with, his girlfriend Mary Jane, or if you look at it, it was another girlfriend he had, Gwen Stacy. For Tom Holland to come out and say that, you've already established this universe that you're in love with MJ in the movies, so it's like you can't just come out and, I'm gay now.
Yeah, sure. Probably in the comic universe, maybe, and they can, because the comics can do whatever the fuck.
I just think in the comic universe, me being a fan, you'd piss off a lot of fans if you came out.
Yeah, but like, and I'm talking about in the comic, the comics. Vision, you can, because like I said, the comics can do whatever the fuck they want. They can change the character wherever they want. They can change it by color, by height, by whatever. I can't explain more enough.
And again, I'm gonna come out and say it. I'm not racist. I'm not sexist or anything. Like, I have gay friends. I have racial friends, you know what I mean? Like I love all my friends, dude. Like they don't do anything that disturbs me or anything. Like I have no problem with it, anything. They are who they are, and I respect the fuck out of that. And I think my biggest argument is like if a character is written a certain way and they just decide to adapt them, but then they want to change something major, don't do it because like everyone has loved these characters for so long and they've waited. If a character has not been on screen yet, they've waited so long to get them on screen, and you're going to change something major about them, whether it be what they are as far as bisexual or gay or straight or whatever,
Right.
or their color, their skin or whatever. I think a lot of fans will be mad about that. There's been a lot of backlash about it before in the comic community, and yeah, I don't know. But that's just me. That's just my view on it. But back to Birds of Prey. I'm sorry, we kind of got off topic from there. But Birds of Prey made a total domestically worldwide of 81.3 million, which is very low for DC. That was actually lower than Jonah Hex when it came out in 2010.
Yeah. How was Jonah Hex for you? Good board.
It was not good.
Yeah.
But
this Jonah Hex that came out in the Arrow universe.
No, in the Arrow universe, they kind of made it up for it a lot.
Yeah.
So
That was pretty set well.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like the way they did that.
And he only played just a little bit in that.
Yeah, he only would come in Legends tomorrow because they would go through time and stuff. But
Right.
Birds of Prey made I'll get it to right now. It made 80. Oh, I'm sorry. It made 81.3 million worldwide, 33.2 million domestically, which is in the United States. I think a lot of people, and this has always been my biggest argument between DC and Marvel, a lot of people try to compare the two too much. You can't do that. DC is a far darker universe than Marvel is. Don't get me wrong. I love Marvel. The cinematic universe, fucking love it. Every movie that's come out, they've worked 12 long years, going on 12 years now, bringing this universe up. And it took them 10 years just to get to Endgame, 11 years to get to Endgame. And it's been a fucking amazing journey. From Iron Man all the way to Avengers Endgame, it's been phenomenal. And they're still going. They still got more stories to tell. DC, yes, they entered the cinematic game a little too late. Their biggest problem with the DC universe, at least movie-wise, is okay. They had an established universe set. They had this, way they were going. They were going to try to release 2 movies a year. And it was set. They were going to have Man of Steel, which was already out, Batman vs. Superman, Wonder Woman, and then it was going to go Justice League, and then it was going to go a Batman solo movie, I think an Aquaman solo movie, a Flash solo movie, then Justice League 2, and then a Cyborg solo movie, and then a Green Lantern solo movie. That was their original slate when they first started. What DC's biggest problem is, and they did it after Suicide Squad, if you really paid attention after Suicide Squad, the biggest problem with DC is once one character took off in that whole series, they're like, oh, this character's going to get their own solo movie. This character's going to get their own solo movie. This character's going to get their own solo. They wanted to give solo movies to all the characters that they thought took off in that movie. That's DC's biggest problem. They never stuck with their plan, and if they would have stuck with their plan and took their time making these films, I think they would have been in a good established universe. They were too late in the cinema universe game, even though they've been doing movies for fucking ever. And they were unorganized. They didn't have a person like Kevin Feige come in and tell them, okay, we're going to do this for the next 10 years, and this is going to be our essential storyline. We're going to start here and get here.
They get Josh Whedon in there, save the whole world.
They almost had Joss Whedon in the movie. They had him, I think, in Justice League because Zack Snyder couldn't finish it for whatever reason. I've heard multiple things. I don't know what the truth is.
I know the reason why, because his daughter's death.
I heard about that, and then I heard that DC just didn't want him anymore because like the last movies that he made,
daughter killed herself.
Yeah, but I heard that DC didn't want him no more also because like the last couple movies that he made with them, like they didn't do good review wise, but however they did amazing money wise.
Yeah, that could be both ways. You never know. That's very unknown. I know truly that his
daughter did die. He committed suicide,
and he had to. Very sad. Tragically, so took time off, and then just started. Then had Josh Whedon to do the rest of it.
Yeah.
So
here's this DC's biggest problem. And this is a pattern, so start paying attention to it from now on with all their films. Their solo films tend to do better than their team up films.
How is that though?
Man of Steel did amazing in theaters. Okay, Batman vs Superman. I'll defend that movie to the fucking end. I fucking loved Batman vs Superman. Batman vs. Superman was really good. I enjoyed it, okay?
A lot of people will fucking disagree with me because it had its issues. I fucking enjoyed it. I love Batman vs Superman.
Right.
But it did poorly review-wise. It got like a 23%. Suicide Squad. Movie was rushed from the start. The movie was fucked from the beginning. They didn't let the guy do his actual fucking vision that he had. So the movie was fucked from the start. Like they had a lot of creative differences with that. David Ayer though, he's a really good director. If you let the guy work, he can get a movie done. So Suicide Squad was kind of fucked. I still enjoyed certain parts of it, but it sucked.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wonder Woman did fucking amazing because that was one of the first all-female production, or not all of it was all-female, but like the director and a female lead. Wonder Woman did fucking phenomenal in theaters. It got really good reviews, made a ton of money, and a lot of people liked it. After that, it was Justice League. Did poorly, and that was due to Snyder. And this goes back to a lot of people wanting the Snyder cut, which is a cut that Zack Snyder, he had finished a cut of his version. It was going to be totally different than what we saw because they had to cut a lot of stuff. They had to reshoot a lot of things, and you can actually see a lot.
I saw that hashtag release the Snyder cut.
One of the biggest reshoots they did, one of the most noticeable ones, obviously, is the CGI mustache on fucking Henry Cavill, and that was due to the fact that he was already filming Mission Impossible, and they needed him back for reshoots, so he couldn't shave that because it would have fucked up his character in Mission Impossible. So that was a thing.
That was just I think part of me did not see that. That was so obvious to look, and when I saw that happen, I kind of just thought to myself, how bad is this movie gonna be right now?
So that was a big issue. On top of that, if you saw one of the major reshoots, you could tell that was a reshoot is when Batman is talking to Aquaman, and he's standing in the water in the background. You can kind of notice it's a reshoot. But so yeah, Justice League, I liked it too. I liked it a lot because my reasons behind liking Justice League are a lot different from other people's. I thought this was fucking awesome that I got to see all my favorite DC characters in one movie.
Yeah,
you had Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, Superman, Batman. I mean, it was fucking, for me, it was like watching the Avengers for the first time. But, like, of course, I like the Avengers a lot more, but it was, like, that iconic for me. I was like, fuck, man, I never thought I'd get to see all these characters in a live-action movie together, I mean, I fucking enjoyed it.
You talk about them, it's alliancing them together. That was such a great climax moment. But I can tell you, I agree with you with some parts that were, some parts were
iffy. Yeah, I get that.
I just want to know, and you guys can tell us this too, and I'm curious, what made it so horrible in your opinion, that I'm not seeing, he's not seeing, maybe he's seeing it, and
are you talking about Justice League?
Justice League, the DC itself, not
DC's biggest issue is, again, audiences keep comparing these movies to Marvel films. You can't do that with DC. DC's a darker fucking subject. It's always been darker since the fucking 90s when they revamped a lot of their heroes. Since the 80s when they revamped a lot. Because when the golden age of comics started back in the 30s all the way to like the 70s, mid 80s, it was all family friendly. Right. DC took the chance and changed that in the late 80s, early 90s with storylines like Crisis on Infinite Earths and fucking when they kept going with Kingdom Come and stuff like that. DC changed the game of comics when they introduced a darker universe, when they made Batman a darker character. Batman in the beginning, if you watch since like the 30s and the 60s, he was a joke character.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I fucking love Adam West's Batman. Adam West's Batman is fucking hilarious. He's fucking awesome, dude. But it wasn't until like the 70s, 80s where they fucking finally changed the route of Batman being this darker person, being this world's greatest detective, fighting these villains and being a dark fucking person. His comics always taking place at night. You know what I mean? So Batman and everything set the boundaries for a darker DC universe. And going back to the films, it's like, okay, these films are going to be dark. These characters are aliens. 9 out of 10 times, majority of the times, DC characters are fucking aliens. You got, of course, the main hero, which is usually Superman, who is one of the faces of DC. He's an alien himself. You got a character like Doomsday, who in the movie, yes, he was made by Lex Luthor with Zod's body and his blood. So they made a Doomsday, which, of course, in the comics, that's not how it is. Doomsday is from another planet. He's an alien and legitimately the only guy ever in comic history to take down Superman without kryptonite. And then, of course, you got villains, that are human, of course, like Black Mantis and Black Manta and, like Themyscira, that's from Greek mythology. They're gods. You know what I mean? Arthur Curry, the Aquaman, Poseidon, they're gods. They go off Greek mythology. So they tend to take a more darker turn. Marvel, I'm not saying they don't take a dark turn, because if you watch Infinity War and Endgame, it had dark moments in it. Mm-hmm. And that goes for a lot of their movies. Like if you watch Doctor Strange, it had some pretty dark moments in it too. Mm-hmm. Like especially in Infinity War, and full-blown spoilers for Infinity War, for the very beginning, he fucking kills Loki like right in front of everybody.
Yes.
Like that was pretty fucking dark.
That was a pretty shocking. I thought I was gonna wait till like the middle or the end, but they went right away, which kind of I was like, all right, we're gonna see some fucking killing.
It's gonna get fucking messy. And Thanos' overall vision of destroying half the universe so the other half can realize what they have because of his planet dying, that's a fucking pretty dark vision.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the whole. And that was the whole concept of that. Well, that was story.
Yeah, that was
the whole idea of them of Thanos coming by.
Yeah.
Taken to a dark level.
I've read Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. Infinity Gauntlet I heard is it's the same dark aspect of this film.
With Infinity Gauntlet, I have read it. They did, however, with this movie, and they teased it big time in Avengers, where in the post-credit scene of Avengers, he says, to torment that is to torment death. Now, if you guys don't know, in the comics, Thanos is in love with death. He sees her as like a beautiful, majestic queen, and he loves her so much. Mm-hmm. And he'll do anything to please her. So in Infinity Gauntlet, he did the snap for her. And Infinity Gauntlet, I mean, compared to the movie, they left out a lot of aspects of, the whole death thing. And then, of course, Silver Surfer plays a major role. Adam Warlock, they both play major roles in Infinity Gauntlet. Infinity Gauntlet. They weren't in Infinity War. So does Nebula. Karen Gillan, she plays a huge role in that too. She's actually the one who snaps everybody back.
Yes.
Yeah, so she plays a huge role. And then what they did though, however, was kind of cool, and you saw a little bit more in Endgame is when he becomes the farmer Thanos. Mm-hmm. Because in Infinity Gauntlet at the very end, you see him as this farmer character, and he's living his life and everything, but it's living his life out of regret because he realized he failed his mission of like everybody disappear because they ended up all coming back. So they go by and visit him, and it's been so many years, and he realized he's failed, but he thinks he can go at it again. Mm-hmm. And which it spawned a whole line of comics, which was Silver Surfer, The Return of Thanos. I have that one. The actual book Infinity War, another one I have. It spawned a whole line of comics, so it was an entire storyline, but. Yeah, DC has always been dark. And then going back to solo movies succeeding, like Aquaman, it was a success. I know you didn't like it too much.
I did, then there were some parts I just kind of got bored off of. Maybe I'm not, I think the acting itself was some of the dialogue was, I got pretty bored off of.
Yeah.
But, I can see from your point of view that it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's not bad of a movie. And
I think for me, what really stole that movie was the CGI.
Yes.
Because not only that, the same team who did Infinity War and Endgame actually did Aquaman.
Okay.
So that's why that was good. And then I think, what's his name? What's the director's name? James Wan. I think James Wan's vision for that movie was great. Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
He didn't do that bad. I think James Wan has I think he's doing the second one, and I believe he has a very good.
He's doing the second one, and this is coming from a guy who did a horror background. Yes. It's like he did the first. He helped do the first Saw movie, I think.
Yeah, that's why it was so iffy about it.
He did the first Saw. He did the Insidious franchise, or he helped do at least some of it, and he did all the Conjurings.
Yeah.
I don't think he did Insidious, but I know for sure he was involved with the Conjuring universe.
By the way, did you see the trailer for
New Saw Spiral?
Spiral
Looks pretty good.
I think it's something.
A lot of people are so trashing it though because of Chris Rock.
Yeah, it's fucking Chris Rock. Because
I'm like, I get it. He can be funny, but there's moments in this trailer where I'm like, this guy can be serious.
This guy, he wrote the story.
He's an executive producer too.
Yeah, he was executive producer and he wrote the story. So you gotta think like none of these, like some of these comics, they don't just have like just a comic background.
He's ripping a page out of Adam Sandler's book.
Yes.
Uncut Gems was a serious move for Adam Sandler, and like now Chris Rock's doing this serious movie. Yeah. On top of that, he's got Samuel L. Jackson as a co-star.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was good, but I know
my thing with before we move on, that Spiral movie, I just want to know where it takes place in the Saw timeline. It says from the book of Saw, so I know it's a spin-off movie, but I want to know, is Jigsaw involved, or is it like a copycat killer who's just bringing it to another area? I just want to know where it takes place in the timeline, because obviously the last Saw movie we saw was Jigsaw, and that was a prequel, a pre-sequel in a way actually, because the entire movie was really a prequel of all the victims playing the game, but then the sequel part was the guy taking up the new mantle of Saw, which was Jigsaw's apprentice. And,
I'm curious how it's going to turn out though. They haven't confirmed anything yet where it's going to go, but because the plot's very it's not shown at the moment, but they should show a trailer, teaser of what it's going to be. Like we're gonna get an idea of where to see. And see what Chris Rock's character is.
I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it.
I can't wait for that too. But going back to James Wan's view of this Aquaman film, I thought it was pretty good. Like it wasn't like, I honestly was a little iffy about, because he came from a horror genre background.
Yeah.
And he did this, so it was not as bad. Yeah. And I want to see where he's going to take it now, because he's directing this new the Aquaman 2, and I'm hoping that he does it well in some ways.
Yeah, and then of course you had Shazam, which I thought was a very big underdog movie.
That was great.
I literally thought the trailers, like I was excited for it, but I thought this movie was going to be aimed for failure, and it fucking crushed what I thought. I did really good in theaters, so they're going to be making a part 2 to that, which Shazam was great.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie.
My only issue with Shazam, the movie, I mean, they went towards more of a comedic route, and if you are familiar with the comics, he's kind of a serious character, but for me...
That's what I thought, too. I thought he was more of a serious
he's a very serious character, but for me... I mean, the comedic thing worked. You had Zachary Levi playing older Shazam.
Zachary Levi is a comedic character.
He's a comedic actor, but he's a good actor too.
Yeah, very good.
And the times it needed to be serious, it was serious. But I enjoyed that. And then of course, Birds of Prey just came out. It was a team up movie. However, it was good.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't bad. It was actually surprising. It's been getting good reviews and everything.
I need to see it. I need to take a look at how everyone's seeing it from different eyes, and how I want to see from my eyes, my point of view, how it's gonna turn out. Is there any credits or
there is
not to
spoil it, but there's a post credits sequence. It's not a scene. It's more audio, but it's fun to hear.
Okay.
It's just a little it's kind of a the way I looked at it, it's kind of a tease. Like, do you remember the post-credit scene for Spider-Man: Homecoming with Captain America? So the biggest thing is patience. It's like it was nothing. It was just something funny. It's kind of similar to that.
Oh, okay.
But it's not a scene. You just hear Harley Quinn's voice, but it's worth saying.
Okay.
I thought it was funny.
I would definitely get that a shot.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I wish more people would look at DC different, other than Marvel. Approach it different. And I think a lot of people a lot of people didn't like Batman vs Superman, a lot of people didn't like Suicide Squad, a lot of people didn't like Justice League, so they just gave up on DC completely.
Yeah, DC can step up. I think they can if they pick this. I know they have Batman going on shooting.
Batman with Matt Reeves is coming out next year. So, later on this year, we're getting Wonder Woman 1984.
So there's some good chances of DC stepping up. It's going to take a lot of ups and downs, a lot of flaws to work on any of these films. So hopefully that could be there's some type of climax to happen. Hopefully. In a way. So
that's all I gotta talk about today, man.
I always talk about today.
I know you're getting tired.
No, I'm still recovering from. Dude, I went to this, guys, if you guys ever want to do this Best Picture Showcase or have any questions about it, let me know. I've done it for so long. If you
What time do you
look,
get home at like 4 in the morning?
I came home at 5 in the morning.
5. So
No, 4 a.m. No,
Start at 10. 10 to 10 is 12.
10.
And
Yeah.
then 11. So that's 13, 14, 15.
Last show was
16, 17, 18. You did about a 20-hour day.
20-hour day, and not don't get it. You don't have to say it throughout the whole day, but like you can.
No, because you can pick up your badge, and your badge tells you what time each movie starts. So if there's like one movie you don't want to see and you want to get something to eat.
Mm-hmm. There is movies that you can actually watch for weekend 1 and weekend 2.
I got a question about that because I did see on your lanyard that it had the different times. If you were to like miss a movie or like go out to get something to eat and then came back and showed that lanyard, would they let you back in?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
so you can go out and get like outside food.
Yeah,
and then come back in.
Yeah, I've had people that sat next to me and watched the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I assume they saw it, so they went to go grab something to eat and they came back. Like they came back in like very the middle, like way.
Yeah, I know that a lot of theaters are strict about that, no re-entry and stuff. So that's cool with that.
This is more a particular event. That's an all day event, so it's very understandable if you're coming back.
Yeah, because I've done something like this before. Yeah. I did that when Episode 7 came out. I watched all 7 Star Wars movies, and we were not allowed to go outside to get outside food. We didn't have a lanyard.
That's bullshit.
However, my mom like dropped us off some breakfast burritos in the morning, so like we went to the exit, and we grabbed them and just left. But we did end up getting with our ticket, I believe, we got free popcorn and drinks all day.
Yeah, they didn't do anything like that this year. They gave us some merch though, but they didn't do anything like that this year, which was kind of shocking. Because last year they gave out, if you were to get coffee like around a certain time, if you buy a large coffee, you get free refills throughout the whole night, which was cool. So I thought it was
especially with coffee, yeah.
Yeah, especially for a coffee addiction like me. But I don't know, they didn't do that much this year. Which I was kind of shocked about. But I mean,
for next year, I'll try to join you. So on Cinema 101 page if we have a lot of followers by then.
Yes. If you guys ever want to do it, have any questions, let me know. Because
I like little 10-second stories of like reviews, like quick reviews.
Right.
Do videos.
And ask other people's questions, But yeah, do you have anything else you want to say?
That's it for me, brother. We covered everything. We're about at the time where we wanted to be for this podcast. So.
Go follow me at RUFFEO4. Do you have any plugins?
Cinema, let me see. Is it Cinema 101 _? That is where you'll find the main page for Instagram for the channel. That's all we have right now is Instagram. And if the channel gets bigger, I'll probably add a Twitter, but for now it's just Instagram. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, and be on the lookout soon because we're not only going to be having this podcast on YouTube, but it will be on SoundCloud soon. As soon as we can buy the premium version of it, we will start uploading all of our episodes to SoundCloud. So it's coming soon on the podcast. We will be streaming on SoundCloud too. So be on the lookout for that. But then again, that is it. I am Anthony.
I am Lucio.
And we will see you guys next week on Cinema Dudes.